And welcome back to the Noob Pod. I think this is week 7 now, yes. And so far it's still going pretty much the same as it was before. That's Eve doesn't move slowly. Eve moves at a glacial pace like the Titanic. And then, of course, you crash headlong into an iceberg and you lose all your stuff. That's Eve. I thought I would be into a bright, shiny new ship by now, but it seems I'm more noobish than I thought. I was training up mining frigates instead of mimitar frigates. Mimitar frigates. So my mining frigates are now at 5, and my mimitar frigates are at 4, and the next to the number 5 takes another 2 weeks to train. So I need that number 5 to actually pilot some of the more fancy covert ships that are far more tailored towards exploration, and just let me, stick a whole heap of really cool equipment in them, like those covert ops cloaks and better rigging and all that really weird stuff that I have no idea about just yet, but I'm trying to figure out. Which means I am stuck in my probe for a little bit longer, which is a shame. I was looking forward to a new ship, I really was. So I thought I would just, before I actually hand in this probe, go over what sort of, what fits I have actually gone with it so far. If you're a noob looking into exploration, this is probably what you'll go as well. Of course, with your, factional, frigate, factional exploration frigate. So far, it is just the basic analyzers, the data analyzer and the relic analyzer, because they're, pretty much essential if you're an exploration person. You need that to find your gear. Now, I was thinking about going for the next stage up, the number 2 tier, but for that you need hacking 5, and it's one of those things I could have built up towards my ship, or I could have built up towards getting better analyzers, and I put that towards my ship first, but hacking 5 is definitely going to next, and then I can equip the better analyzers, and that really drastically improves your ability to get through sites. Now, if you're like me and you do get used to that hacking minigame, I don't fail too often, even in those really tricky ones. If you take your time, use those little, functions well, you can get past pretty much any of them. You're going to fail a couple every now and then, probably 1 in 10 once you get used to it, but that's not too bad. These, though, do let you just plow through the next set. Absolutely plow through them. Apart from that, I have taken out my overdrive for a nano warp thing, and that makes you go so much faster. It's like from 1,000 to 3,000 max, which is awesome. And that really helped me, because I tend to just warp in at, say 100 kilometers for a lot of the data relic sites, especially when I'm in, wormholes, because you don't know what's actually going to be there. And so that leaves me a mile out from these cans, long travel time, and this really speeds it up now to get in there and just start getting some loot, start getting my shiny stuff. Apart from that, I still have the basic scanners and probe launchy things, and I also fitted out a salvager now, which is pretty cool. So I don't salvage wrecks that I find. I have actually fitted some riggings to my ship now, just the 2 of them, because that's all it can take. This is actually pretty easy to, train up, and really quick just to have some nice riggings, and they do make a little bit of a difference. So far, I've got one that boosts my probe strength, help with scanning, because that's what you do a lot of the time, and one for the relic, helps with the relic boxes, relic sites, relic analyzing, because they're usually the most, expensive, and you don't like losing them. And that's my little probe. It's not much, it's little, but it's mine. I don't know why, but I kind of like the, it's bad to say this, but the shipbox ships, they just remind me too much of Red Dwarf and Blake 7, those really ships that have held together with duct tape and stuff. They've been around the universe a few times. They're meant for exploring. They're meant to go places that they shouldn't. They're going to get banged up and taped back together again kind of ships. The slick modern stuff's okay, but I don't know, just little boxy ship boxes are my kind of ships. I am getting much more used to, say, the scanning side of things. It's funny. You think you got it down pat when you put in it several hours, that kind of stuff. But the good thing with scanning is that the more I am engaging with it, the quicker I seem to be getting it, really narrowing down on certain particular signatures. I used to take quite a long time sometimes. Like you wouldn't quite like get the right scan, and you'd have to go down slowly to find the right spot. But now I'm really quite understanding where to put it, how much to shrink and when, and that dramatically speeds up the process. I still have a lot of learning there to do. I know I do. But I don't know, it's starting to become second nature to me, like moving those little boxes around, shortening, moving, opening, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it just speeds up the process. I am starting to understand more about, I know I said this before, more about the names of the sites. And this will take a while, but I can pretty much tell if one of these sites is going to be a danger to me now. I've also learned to understand a little bit more about wormholes. And there is so much there I've yet to learn, like all the different classifications and the different types of wormholes, magnetars and pulsars and all that kind of stuff, which is really quite cool. And then you got the numbering formulas as well, like, K162 that tell you what level that wormhole is. And I've learnt surprisingly that the lower level wormholes are actually less dangerous for you than the higher level ones. And for those lower level ones, I can usually go in quite a few more relic and data sites, and they're usually pretty comparable to the higher ones anyway. So I'm probably going to look for those low ones. But with, I think, the higher class wormholes, and especially some of them like cataclysmic wormholes, there are actually people that will pay good money to know where they are. I don't understand why, but if they're going to pay me, they're going to pay me. So I know when I go in a wormhole, I still kind of check out every single other exit and wormhole I can get to and just poke through, see what's on the other side. I'm still really enjoying exploring as well. I have no idea why I enjoy this so much, but I know it's just a gameplay I've really taken to. It really reminds me of Firefall for some reason. That was a really average shooter MMO, but there was a gameplay in it called Thumping where you would run around the entire area scanning for particular nodes and particular resources that would come in different quantities. And to find that really rare material in a great quantity there, it just felt so rewarding. And this is what this is. You're scanning around looking for that perfect site to find. And sometimes you don't find it, but what it also reminds me of is just, it gives you time to really admire your surroundings. And I find myself stopping all the times and just looking at the universes I'm exploring, the different planets I come across, the different types of wormholes, the weird, colorful backgrounds in the universe behind me. All that kind of stuff is really cool to see. I know if you're probably a veteran to EVE, it's one of those things that you see all the time and you get bored of it. But for a newbie, this game is beautiful. It is really quite beautiful. And it enraptures you into that sci-fi spacefaring atmosphere. It really does. And makes you want to explore more, makes you want to experience more. So that's really cool. I have been quite lucky in my explorations as well for the last week. I haven't actually played much for this week, just a couple days, but in those few days I made bucket loads of ISK for a newbie. I am now sitting at 300 million ISKs, which is amazing for me. That's like, 200 probes for me, so I can lose quite a bit and still be okay with that. Now this is where the decision making for me comes in. Like right now, I could easily train up for what's called, I think it's the pirate faction, and get an asteroid. Or is it pirate, or is it one of those specialty factions? And train up for an asteroid. This only requires level 3 in, I think it's Galantar and something else. 2 factions that I don't have. But it only needs level 3, and that would take me probably 2 days, maybe 3, rather than 14. So I could be flying around a special covert op ship if I really want to. But the thing is, you got to pay for that, and these are insanely expensive. Like, I'm looking on the market and they're running at like 70 to 80 million iskies. And that's a lot comparing to, say, my probe, which is 2, if I'm unlucky. And the regular covert op ships, which are like 30, 40, it's double the price. And the functionality is pretty much the same. But it's a matter of, do I want to get in one of those early or not? And I'm not quite sure yet. I think right now I want to save my money and curb my losses, so to speak. But it's very, very tempting because I do have enough of a padding there that I could probably, get away with losing one and not being too concerned about it. I'd be probably rolled up in the ground and cry after it happened for half an hour, but I'd be able to get back up there and keep on exploring, which is good. But yeah, it's a lot of money. I'm thinking saving it and just waiting for the covert op ships, and then once I get them, I can fully kit them out to my heart's content. Get them the proper cloak, the better rigging, all the good probes and probe launchers and all that kind of stuff. And that'll really help me immensely, I think, going forward into exploring in EVE. And that's where I am right now. Still exploring, still in Signal Cartel, which is having their 1-year birthday now, doing a few competitions around the stuff. And there's a really cool, exploration-focused event going on in EVE at the moment where you can get research components from sites. And I think I've got about 20 of them now, so I don't know what they're for, but Signal Cartel is buying them, and that apparently helps them, so. Other than that, I think, I don't know, after Covert Op Ship, I'll have to try and think what I want to try and do next, and what ships I want to fly next. I think I'll probably train up the different frigates, the different faction frigates. That'll help me going forward, and from there, I really don't know. Maybe cruisers. I hear strategic cruisers can possibly be good for my gameplay for some reason. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment below. Thanks, everybody.